shortly after this happened, the next day, is that right?
Yes.
And that's the description you gave to that officer?
Yes.
You've seen news reports about this case in the days or the time since November 21st, is that right?
Yes.
And you've seen photographs of Darrell Brooks in other contexts, is that correct?
Objection.
Yes.
I do not consent to being called that name, nor do I know that individual, and it's
Go ahead, you may answer the question.
speculative.
It's not speculative. Go
Clearly.
ahead.
Yes.
The person you saw get out of the driver's seat of that SUV on November 21st, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
The
Yes.
objection is hearsay. How he's speaking as a first eye-hand witness.
Overruled. I believe he answered, but could you state it again?
Yes, I see him. He's sitting at the defense table wearing a suit with a blue tie and a white surgical mask.
And just to be thorough, could we please have Mr. Brooks remove his mask for a moment?
Please. Mr. Brooks, please remove your mask. Thank you. The record should reflect the mask has been removed.
How confident are you in your identification today?
100%.
Is your identification in court today colored in any way by seeing pictures of Mr. Brooks in other contexts?
Objection. Speculative.
Overruled. He may answer.
No.
Can you describe the difference, if any, between Mr. Brooks' appearance today and his appearance on November 21st?
Objection. Hearsay and speculative.
It's neither one of those things. The objection is overruled. The witness may answer.
Objection is irrelevant.
It is relevant. He may answer.
Not if he identified me already, so he said.
Mr. Brooks, please. The objection's been overruled. The witness may answer.
He's got very short hair right now, and he didn't then.
What did his hair look like on November 21st?
Objection.
Overruled. You may answer.
Relevancy.
Go ahead. You may answer, sir.
He had longer hair.
I'm going to ask that we put up for the witness only exhibit number 65, please.
Go ahead.
Do you see a video on the screen in front of you?
Yes.
We're going to play a few moments from that video just to give you a chance to see if you recognize what's shown. Okay, that's good. We played 7 seconds out of the total of 36 seconds on this clip. You recognize that video?
Yes.
What does it show?
It shows me walking southbound on the east side sidewalk of Maple, just south of, I think that's Prospect, walking my dog Elvis and walking with my oldest daughter Ava.
Is that an accurate depiction of that scene as you saw it that day?
Objection.
Overruled.
Move
May
exhibit.
answer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Move exhibit 65 into evidence and ask to publish.
Exhibit 65 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled.
This is 36 seconds. Let's play it through one time at 100% speed, please. We can go ahead. Go back to the beginning and pause it at the beginning there. Do you see yourself at the beginning of this video?
Yes.
Could you circle yourself for us? That's a touch screen, just use your finger. Thank you. We can clear that. You're the only person walking a dog in this video, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's play and we'll pause at another point. Pause there at 4 seconds. You mentioned Prospect. Could you draw a line down Prospect for us? Okay, so that's the only cross street we can see clearly in the video? Correct?
Yes.
And do you see any vehicles on Prospect at this point?
See 2.
Could you circle the one with...
Clearly more than 2 vehicles.
On Prospect.
I'll
was the question.
clarify.
No, you said on Prospect. He answered. His answer may stand.
Where's Prospect? Where are you referring?
He already drew a line. The witness would redraw the line for Mr. Brooks. Thank you. Go ahead.
Do either of those vehicles have, appearing to you today, to have an inoperable headlight?
Yes.
Which one? If you could circle it, please.
Objection leading.
It's not leading. He may answer.
Thank you. We can clear that. And we'll resume at 4 seconds, please. Pause. Paused at 27 seconds. Do you see on the video right now the person you recall being the driver of that vehicle?
Yes.
Could you please circle that person for us? I'd like to mark and preserve this annotation as Exhibit 65A, please, and move it into evidence.
Objection. Hearsay.
The objection is overruled. Exhibit 65A is received.
Go ahead.
Yes, please. The clothing worn by the person you just circled, does that match your memory of what the driver was wearing that day?
Yes.
Okay, and let's play from this point, 27 seconds. And we'll stop there. From the 27-second point to the end of the video, the person who you circled, does that match your memory of what the driver did that day after he got out of the SUV?
Yes.
What did you do next?
I attempted to call 911 to report a crash.
If we could take the video down, please. Did you get through on the first call?
No.
What about the second?
No.
Third?
No.
Did you eventually get through?
4th time.
Objection. Hearsay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the answer. The objection is overruled. Could you please restate your answer, sir?
I believe I got through on the 4th attempt.
And that's when you reported what you saw?
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Any questions on cross-exam for this witness?
I do. Can we pull that exhibit back up again?
65.
And publish?
65 will be shown. Go ahead.
And publish.
Granted. Permission granted to publish. It's been received. Let me know, jurors, when 65 is in the jury box. It's up. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, why does this pause right now? It's not playing, it's at 0. Would it be fair to say that to the, I guess that would be my right of the screen, you can see a white looking SUV by the walkway where people would be able to cross the street? Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say that the side street that you lined as being Prospect, I think you said it was, where the 2 do not enter signs are, that would be the side street you're referring to? Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that from the position that you're in, approximately here, and the side street being here,
And just so the record is clear, Mr. Brooks has annotated the touch screen with a line depicting the direction of Prospect, intersecting with the street, the perpendicular street. I apologize, I don't remember the name, and then an X where...
Prospect, you said?
Prospect is the street in the direction of the line, but there's a cross street there.
Okay.
But the X is indicating where this witness, his dog, and his daughter are in the video. Go ahead.
So from where you're positioned right here by the X, you can see down this street from the position you're in.
No.
So how were you able to see if a vehicle would be coming from this way from the position you're at?
I didn't see the vehicle driving on Prospect. I saw it driving behind the houses through the yards.
So you were able to see the vehicle behind houses?
Between houses,
You
behind
said
houses.
behind. You said behind.
Right, through the yards behind the houses.
And you were able to see that from where you were?
Yes.
Can we take those marked lines and stuff down? Can you play it a little bit? I'll tell you when to pause.
You just confirm you want it full speed?
Yeah, well, I guess that would be regular, whatever is the regular speed.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Would it be fair to say from,
Do you want it paused?
no, not yet, just, you can let it play. I'll say, I think it's 36 seconds, so. Would it be fair to say from,
Well, hold on, the video's showing, so wait till it's done playing and then ask a question. Or have us pause where you want it paused.
pause? So it's paused at 18 seconds for the record. Would it be fair to say that in the 18 seconds shown to this point, you're pretty much just walking the dog, moving around, just walking normal? You don't make any sudden moves to the left to look, or you don't stop in your tracks or anything. You're just walking along. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And you also made reference to hearing a crash. What point did you hear the crash?
Sometime while the vehicle was driving behind the houses.
Why didn't you immediately stop in your tracks and say you just heard something? Why do you just keep moving as if you heard anything? Nothing.
I just turned my head to see if I could see anything, and I didn't see anything.
And so you just kept moving.
Correct.
So basically it was just like, oh, do, walking the dog.
Yes.
Can you play? Pause it. Would it be fair to say that another roughly 8 seconds to play, from 18 seconds to 26 seconds, still you didn't stop in your tracks, still you didn't turn to look at the other side of the street in any manner? You're continuing doing what you're doing. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Why so nonchalant?
When the vehicle emerged from the back of the house, I saw that it was damaged, and then in my mind, I knew what I had heard.
With all respect, that wasn't the question. Why so nonchalant at that point?
I didn't think it was anything of great emergency at that point. I just figured that an intoxicated driver may have just struck another vehicle in the back of that alley, and now he was going to take off and run.
And being in law enforcement, why would you not investigate that if you heard something crash? Why, being an officer of the law, why would you not investigate that if you heard that?
I was with my daughter, and I would in no way put her in harm's way.
Well, I would think it would be fair to say that you can handle yourself. You're obviously a officer of the law. You're trained to be able to handle yourself. Would it be fair to say that you could have at least investigated the sound that you heard, the sound like a crash, at least?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained. It's also a compound question. Please rephrase.
So all these thoughts, maybe it was just a drunk driver and they're gonna run anyway, and all these thoughts, and that never piqued your interest to investigate?
Sometimes being a good witness is the best thing to do. That's why I called 911 to report it immediately.
Now, that's fair, but being an officer of the law, you're right there.
Again,
Objection, that's not a question, also asked and answered, also argumentative.
Sustained as to the form of the question. You don't need to answer, sir. Next question, please.
What if someone may have been hurt at that point? You don't think you would have an obligation to investigate if someone may have been injured at that point?
that's why I called 911.
Can you play the rest of the video?
We sure can. Go ahead.
It did a weird little like motion thing. That was probably from the camera, I would guess. But in that entire video, is it fair to say that you did not reach for a phone and take out a phone from your pockets or anything in any way? That'd be fair to say?
I can't tell if I did from the video itself. I know.
So
that
when
I
did you make the call?
At some point after you started running.
Who is you?
The defendant, the driver of the vehicle.
So how long after you saw the driver of the vehicle did you make the 911 call?
Within seconds, I believe.
Is it fair to say that we don't see that on the video?
The video is very small at that point. It's hard to
Is
see.
it fair to say we don't see you do that on the video?
Yes.
Can we pull the video back up? Can you take it to 27 seconds and pause at 27? Maybe 28. I may be mistaken. Maybe just go one more second. Maybe to 28. Or you know what? No. Keep it paused right there. Would it be fair to say that you noticed the vehicle in this area right there?
Yes.
Can you remove the X? And what do you see right there?
I don't understand.
Do you see anything right there? An individual, anything? Do you see anything right there?
It's
inside
hard to
the
tell
circle?
from that picture what I can see.
Can you move it? Can we blow it up a little bit or move it closer? Just a little bit?
I don't know that it can be zoomed in. Does that
Can it-
state
can
have
it be
that
zoomed in?
capability?
So we can zoom in, as long as the defendant's okay with dispensing with any technological foundation issues there, but we can zoom in. We have the ability to do that.
Would you like it zoomed in?
What do you mean by not, say that again? I'm sorry.
We can zoom in if you want to.
Can you zoom in just a little bit? Just a smidge.
That's the extent of our zooming capabilities with this
No,
software.
that's fine, that's fine. Can you see anything there?
It looks like something white. I don't know if that's the driver.
Looks like something white.
Yes, it's light colored.
White color what?
It's light colored.
Light color, but you did say white. Is that fair to say that you just said white?
I just did say white.
Can you erase the circle? Zoom back out, take the, it's like a box there in the corner that's kind of throwing the whole exhibit off. Take it back to the regular. You testified earlier that you saw the driver with a gray hoodie, as you referred to it. Do you recall saying that?
Yes.
Would I just circle right there? Would you, from your recollection, say that that was the driver you saw?
I don't know what that is at this point.
You don't-
It's
you
just
don't
a
know?
paused video. It could be a glare. It could be a person. I don't know. If you could play it again.
Well, let's play it again.
From the 27th.
Stop right there.
Okay.
Yeah,
no.
from the 27 mark. I think it just played maybe what, half a second or something like that. Did you see that whatever you said you didn't know what it was, could have been a person, could have been something else? Did you see it move from the position that it was before?
Yes.
And you also identified that that was white, right? That's what you said, correct?
I did say that.
And would it be fair to say that you saw the driver in gray? Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Take the circle off. You also stated that you were about 50 feet from the, well, you added the vehicle in too. You said maybe 50 feet and then depending on the length of the vehicle. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And from where you are here to here, because it would be fair to say we can't see a vehicle in the picture at that point. Would that be fair to say? We can't see a vehicle that would be facing you because you said it was facing you. We can't see a vehicle. Would that be fair to say?
From this angle of vehicles obstructed, yes.
So that would be 50 feet from, approximately 50 feet from X to X.
Approximately.
And you were able to see the driver and a description from where you're standing now to where the other X is.
Yes.
And you were able to make out the race of the driver from where you were at.
I guessed.
You
on
guessed.
Raced.
So you're not for certain.
I wasn't for certain at that time.
So what conclusion were you coming to at that point? Just an educated guess, or
Can you explain further?
How-
Conclusion
how-
for what?
would it be fair to say that your guess could have been inaccurate?
Could have been.
And you also stated that you saw news reports and a description of the driver on the news. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And you made reference to the driver's hair. Would that be fair to say?
In my testimony, yes.
You brought up the hair is what I'm saying. You said long hair. That be fair to say?
Yes.
And you will be able to see hair if you describe the driver wearing a hoodie.
Yes.
You will be able to see hair and tell the length of the hair.
If it's hanging out of the hoodie, yes.
Well, you didn't say, all fairness, you didn't say it was hanging out of the hoodie. You just referred to the hair.
Yes.
Objection, that's not a question, and it's argumentative.
Is it?
Hold on, there's been an objection. I believe the witness understood the question, so I'll overrule the objection. His answer may stand. Next question.
Is it any possible way you could have gotten a description from the news reports instead of what you actually recall?
No.
And how did you determine that?
In the report I gave, in my statement, I described what I saw that day, not what I saw in the news.
And you also described two different colors of dress. Once you said gray and one you said white. Would that be fair to say?
I said that the item in the video appeared to be white.
Did you not say that the item moved? As you say item, did you not say the item moved from where it was at?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that there can be no movement to an item if it wasn't a person?
Yes.
A person that you described wearing white?
On the video screen, it appeared white. It appeared light colored or white.
Would it be fair to say that you said white? That was your first?
Yes.
At any time in that video, could you see hair?
In the video,
In the video.
you can't see very much in the video. No.
After making the 911 call, did you return back to the scene where you noticed the vehicle?
Yes.
And did you investigate at that point?
Yes.
So what changed from the point that you heard a crash, as you say, and then returning back to where you saw the vehicle? What changed between those times?
As I was talking to the 911 dispatcher, I wanted to give them better details about the vehicle, so I walked back over to.
So at the time that you initially made the 911 call, there was still details about what you saw that you were unsure of. Would that be fair to say?
I believe they asked me what the license plate was, and I couldn't see it from where I was at, so I walked back over to give that to them.
So you couldn't see the license plates of the vehicle from where you were at?
There was no license plate on the front of the vehicle, so I could not see it.
So you came back to investigate if there was a license plates that you can identify?
Yes.
Did you investigate what you may have heard the vehicle strike?
No.
Any reason why not?
By that time, a large crowd had gathered, and there were sirens. I could hear them in the distance, and the police were responding rather quickly.
So you didn't take the opportunity to see if anyone, from saying that you heard a loud crash, you didn't take the opportunity to investigate if anyone may have been hurt from that loud crash?
I didn't know.
Any reason why not?
No reason.
Any other details about the driver that you can recall as far as further clothing?
No, I thought at some point I saw a Packers logo on his clothing or something to that effect.
Did you put that in your report?
Yes.
At any time, have you read or saw a complaint in this matter?
No, just my report.
Any other officers that came to the scene? Because you made reference to officers was responding by the time you came back to give more details to the dispatcher. More officers were arriving. Do you recall if any one of those officers investigated the loud crash you heard?
I'm unaware.
But it would be fair to say that they gave reports from what they observed when coming to the scene. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you recall any of them asking you of a description of what you saw?
I didn't speak to any officers on scene that day.
Any reason why not?
I just left.
Seeing as how that you made the initial 911 call, I'm sure the officers were probably responding by that time anyway, but seeing as how you made the 911 call, you didn't collaborate with the other officers to try to, piece together what you may have saw?
I'll object to the characterization that was the first 911 call.
I didn't say first. I said he made the initial 911 call.
Initial means first, so sustained is to the form of the question.
Besides, let me back up. After seeing the description on the news, did you say to yourself, that's the driver that I saw?
I recognized the driver as the person I saw on TV or social media. Yes.
Social media or the news?
I don't recall, probably both.
Both. Did you report that?
When I gave my statement, that's what I told them, yes.
And did you report that description before or after you saw it on the news or social media, or both?
I gave a statement the very next morning. I worked at 6 a.m. I reported it to my supervisor, who contacted Waukesha investigators and had one of our detectives take a statement from me that morning. The statement that I gave them was from my experience at the scene, not from what I saw on TV or social media.
So it would be fair to say by that next morning, you had already seen reports on the news or social media?
Yeah.
Or
yes.
both?
Yes.
And your report was the next morning, so could it have been fair to say that that's where you got the description?
No.
Did you learn any additional information that you don't recall having via social media or the news after you had already made your report?
I don't understand the question.
Did you learn any additional information after you had already given your report?
Learn information about what?
About the description of the driver, what had happened at the parade, anything?
Well, originally I had no idea what had happened at the parade. I thought it was just, I witnessed a hit and run crash. I had no clue what had happened at the parade.
So you just said now you witnessed a hit and run crash, but you also said that you didn't investigate the crash that you heard.
Correct.
So how would you characterize it as a hit and run crash if you never investigate what you heard?
Well, because I heard a crash and then the driver ran.
Well, you also stated, to be fair, that you didn't investigate the crash. So how was it any way to know what you were witnessing if you didn't investigate it?
Because I heard a crash and I saw the driver run. So in my mind, I assumed that was a hit and run crash.
So it was an assumption, you didn't know?
Yes. I heard a crash. I didn't see the crash.
Correct. So would it be fair to say that from the assumption that there was a hit and run crash, as you say, the only way to know for sure where the crash came from would be to investigate it? Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And you stated for the record that you did not do that, correct?
Yes.
So why would you report it as a hit and run crash if you were not sure what it was?
Well, based on my training experience as a crash investigator, that's what I thought it was.
Did you talk to any of the people that lived in those houses to see if they had heard the same thing you heard?
I spoke to maybe a resident of the apartment or the house right there who just said that the vehicle didn't belong there.
Did they report to you that they heard any crash?
No, not that I recall.
Did they report to you that they saw a driver?
No.
So as far as you can recall, you were the only one that heard the crash.
As far as I know, yes.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
Yes, please, thank you. You testified that you didn't investigate the sound of this crash, correct?
Yes.
Were you off duty that day?
Yes.
When you're off duty, do you carry a police radio with you?
Objection.
Is she a sworn law enforcement officer?
Objection. Irrelevant.
Overruled. You may answer.
No.
At the time you heard the crash but didn't investigate it, did you know that the vehicle that you saw had been involved in hitting dozens of people on Main Street minutes earlier?
Objection. Asked during cross. Answered.
Overruled. He may answer.
I had no idea.
When the driver got out, and just to clarify again, who was the driver?
The defendant,
Darrell Brooks?
Darrell Brooks.
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name, and
Mr. Brooks, I'm sorry.
I don't consent to being called that name.
So noted. Next question, please.
Did you see anybody else get out of the vehicle?
No.
When you went back to check the vehicle, was there anybody inside?
No.
On this issue of the white clothing, can we please show for everybody exhibit number 120, which has previously been published?
Go ahead.
You see exhibit number 120 on the screen in front of you?
Yes.
You see the person who appears to be behind the driver's wheel of the red SUV in that picture?
Objection. What is the relevancy?
Overruled. He may answer.
Yes.
How would you describe the color of the shirt that that person's wearing?
Light gray or white?
That's all I have for this witness.
All right, thank you. You may step down.